got one project done. You see there's a light there. And there's another one in here. This one was a real pain. Not the least of which was getting the last bit done because of this table. And it's also backwards from where I wanted it, because I wanted that thing to be right here where the thermostat is, but whatever, doesn't matter. It's not like it's going to hurt anything. I even connected them to the network, so they will respond to my phone. There's that one. I think it does a pretty good job of lighting up in here. Not that you're going to be able to tell much because it's already extremely light out. It's only 1:30. It's even got a slow off, which is not what my other one does. I got these ones later off of eBay, and they're not really what I thought I was going to get. I tried this one too, but again, you're not going to see much. This one was by far and away easier. It seems like the adhesive strip on it worked a little bit better, and I was able to use quite a bit fewer of those stupid silicone things. They're a massive pain in order to put up. So, but it's up there. Like I said, these are not retail boxes. No, not really what I thought I was getting. I thought I was getting a retail package, but whatever. But now I got another project. Yes? Seriously, once again, we're coming in here. I'll take a look at this in a video later, but priority right now is on this, which is working just fine. There's nothing really to report on it functionality-wise. You can see it's still there. This thing has got an Intel Core 2 Core 2 Extreme. Not that I think there's too much of a difference between the two. QX6700 in it. And that is a 130 watt TDP chip. No thank you. Not in a 24/7 operational standpoint or a situation. And my initial plan was to get 3 of these, so that way I could have 5 things down here. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm just going to revert this back to 4, and we're going to take this thing and we're going to replace it. What with? Now that might be a complex question. I have no shortage of computing iron, and I could probably do better than what I'm going to do, but since it doesn't need a whole lot of computer power, and I don't really want to give it a whole lot of computer power anyway, we're going to use this case here as a basis, just because it's here, and it's in good shape. I believe the fan in the back is a good, yep. I don't know what power supply that is, but I believe that it's one of those Fortron Source ones. That's got some 80 plus bronze certification, which is good enough for anything that I do. I thought about using that case there with its slightly newer power supply, but I'm going to save that for another project. The motherboard we're going to use is, I wish, this, which is something that I have not used in a very long time, and I hope it still works. It's a Intel DQ67JOE with a Core 2 Duo E8200 on it, which is a 65 watt TDP chip, half of what that is. Of course, this was a used system and was used in the chemistry building, so you can see it's taken a beating over the years. But I'm hoping that it still works. I think it's got 4 gigabytes of memory on it, if not 8. But I don't really need a whole lot of memory for a backup server anyway, so I'll put this in this case, we'll power it up, make sure it works, and then I'll set into transferring the disks. Jumping ahead a little bit, board's in the case. I've installed all the front panel stuff. So now I just gotta install the power, which is relatively easy to do. In fact, we can probably just do that on video. I don't know how stuff like this happens. Really, it's ridiculous. The kind of things that some of these cables get into. Alright, plug that in. It's suppose it probably doesn't matter which one of them we plug in, just that we plug in one of them. And then the power 24 pin, we'll plug that in too. If this decides it doesn't want to get in the way, we'll plug that in, just like that. There. So now I can plug this in and test it. Alright, how much do you want to bet this isn't going to work? Oh, yeah, thought so. Sounds like a memory problem. So, we'll adjust that. I'm telling you what, I don't think this is going to work. And I don't think I'm going to give this thing any more chance to work. Because I was able to get 3 of the 4 modules. I don't know where the other one went. It must have fallen on the floor. 3 of the 4 of them will work to give me 6 gigabytes, but it won't go any further than that. A set of crucial memory, which is in some motherboard box sitting around here somewhere. Actually, no, yeah, it is. It's probably in here. If I had to guess. Nope, not there. It's in one of these. Didn't work. This stuff, like, kind of worked, but then the system slowly just degraded, eventually to the point where it stopped posting. And that stuff isn't even detected at all. So I think I'm going to just change this motherboard because clearly this just is not functional. And I'll put this on something else. I'll get rid of this board. I think this is the last holy crap, DQ35JOE that I have. And these have always just been unreliable boards, so out it comes. This, in here now, is an Asus model P5KPL-AM EPU that was given to me, or maybe it wasn't given to me, I might have paid for it. If you remember, a viewer of mine either gave or I bought, again, like I said, I don't remember, an E-Machines that I put that EverX motherboard in. This is what came out of that. And it works, as you can see here, except there's one problem. Whoever at Asus designed this really wasn't thinking when they did. That front panel stuff is pretty tight. I can't plug in the hard drive LED or the power LED because they won't reach, and I can't stretch that out any further than it already is. So that's not going to work. It's also only got 4 SATA ports. And although it doesn't have a Pentium 4 or some similarly awful thing on it, and yes, it's what I said, and it's what I meant, it does have a Q6600, which I was mildly surprised to see considering it's got the small heatsink. But that's also too power hungry, so I'm going to have to find something else. Here's a P5L-MX. This is even worse, it's a Pentium D. Ick. And an out-of-date BIOS. So, onwards and upwards, I guess. Check it out. Although it'd be easier to check it out if the camera actually would focus. I don't know what happened to that, but I guess we've lost the ability to do that. There we go. I have found a board that will work for what I want. This is a DQ45CB from Intel. It's even got all 8 gigs of RAM. It's seeing all 8 gigs. Which is funny because those slots are all loose. We got an E8400 at 3 gigahertz. Looks like the battery's even good. But because we can't have everything, this might actually be a blessing in disguise as my camera battery decides it wants to run out. But the onboard video, which is DVI, well technically DVI only, but you can use an adapter with the top port there. But if I try to plug anything into that top port, the system does not power on. I don't really understand why. So I fitted it with this random video card, and hopefully it will work. So I'm going to set this up to my liking. I guess I'm going to change cameras, and we'll transfer everything out of that and into this. Okay, updated my DHCP reservation. Now this server will go ahead, anything will load here, and we'll shut it down. Now let's pull the drives out. Alright, there we go. All the drives transferred from that into this. Now, I want to stave off something here because it's going to come up, and I know that it's probably going to come up even though I'm going to try and stave it off here. Well, why are you using a hard drive as a boot drive? You should be using an SSD. You've got plenty of them sitting around. Alright, here. Relax. Sit down for a minute. I'm going to tell you something. It's going to fail no matter what. Alright? In fact, if it's an SSD, it will probably fail sooner. This is a server. It runs 24/7. And I'm not buying an enterprise-grade SSD for some fly-by-night piece of crap like this. I'd buy it for a good computer. So, I'm stuck with consumer-grade junk. It's going to fail. Just like the hard drive. The hard drive works just fine. And I've got a bucket of these things. Well, actually, probably not the 250s, but I've certainly got a bucket of old hard drives that I can feed this thing with if I need to do it. Now, recovering from that is a different story. But if that's the way it has to be, then that's the way it has to be. It's just a backup server anyway. So let's have a quick sanity check on the bench, make sure that it boots and all that. I noticed a curious option in the BIOS on this system for UEFI booting. Look at that. Doesn't work. What a surprise. So we'll go into setup and we'll turn that off, because I presume that's probably why it's not working. I noticed an interesting thing there. I'm hitting F2 and the keyboard lock LED is going off. Kind of weird. Yeah. UEFI boot. Look at that. Turn that off. Let's see what happens now. That's a little better, right? So far, anyway. Hopefully I didn't interrupt any backup runs that were going at the time. Yeah, that's about what I thought was going to happen. Apparently it doesn't like these, it's still going. Maybe it just locked up, I don't know, but apparently it doesn't like these video cards, these GT520s. I might have to find a different card. But it's online. Maybe. No, maybe not. I was hoping that it'd be online, but it looks like it is not. Oh, yeah, I know probably why it's not, because my network interface changed. So, I'm going to have to get something in there that'll let me see the video, because this is not going to work. Okay, I have to reboot, because just running IF reload apparently wasn't enough. It's got a network interface. It's online. Here it is. You can see all that information. All of those are accounted for. They're not missing. So I think we've passed that sanity check. So let me go ahead and put it back in the rack. Well, good news is that it looks like, well, not really. It's working enough. The PS2 to USB adapter is working enough to where at least it passes power. But I have no keyboard, so I'm going to have to find a different adapter or do something about that. But I'm not sure I care right now, because I just want this thing to boot. It'd work. That'd be nice. Yeah, it's running. And everything is good. And I didn't even lose any RAM either, going from that over there to this. So now I'm going to put it all the way in the rack, and I'll see what that screws up. Well, it's in there, although I broke my PS2 adapter. The cable pulled in two. I guess that explains why it wasn't working. But, so now I can't change this, because if I change it, I will not be able to go back to it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I guess it just means I'm going to have to get another adapter, but it didn't crash. It's still running, I think. Yeah, it's still running. So that's good. So I think I'll call that project done, even though it took longer than it really needed to, simply because I had to find a board that was actually going to work for what I need. And I'll conclude the video with that. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below.